You've been on the road for hours, covered 527 miles, listened to 3 podcasts, had 2 calls with your mom and 1 with your sister, and you're really hungry. And look at that. There's a McDonald's 1 mile up ahead meal. There's a meal for every moment at McDonald's.
Enjoy a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit and bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles. Get 2 of the same or 1 of each for $4. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal. Single item at regular price.
At Dumb Cats created this unsolicited jingle for Popeyes, and it got us dancing.
Chicken sandwiches, chicken sandwiches, chicken sandwiches. I want my chicken sandwiches. I went to Popeyes cause I needed chicken sandwiches. I read on Twitter that it has lots of advantages.
At Dumb Cats from Los Angeles, California, on August 25th at 3:55 p.m. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Our business needs vans, lots of vans, and Europcar meets our day-to-day needs all across the country, providing our company with the ideal selection of small, medium or large vans and trucks, and even bespoke commercial vehicles delivered directly to our premises.
From our 22 nationwide locations, Europcar supplies Irish businesses with an unrivaled range of vans, 4x4 pickups, 4-seater commercial SUVs, and double cab tippers. With 9,000 vehicles in our fleet, there's no demand we can't fulfill. Europcar, moving your way.
After a great start to the Euro 2020 qualifiers, the Republic of Ireland look to continue their 100% home record as they take on Switzerland on Thursday, September 5th at Aviva Stadium. Then on Tuesday, September 10th, we go again at Aviva for the 3 international friendly versus Bulgaria. Kick-off for both games 7:45. Show your support for the boys in green this September. Tickets on sale now starting at €20 from fai.ie/tickets. Booking fee applies.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer. Brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
Welcome to Beer Nuts, number 134. I'm Chris. I am in St. Joseph, Missouri this evening, and my last Untapped check-in was Rainbowade by Evil Twin Brewing. That was delicious.
All right, well, JR here from Sierra Vista, Arizona. My last check-in on Untapped was Tombstone Brewing Company Southern Hemisphere Double IPA, brewed with Nelson Sullivan and Galaxy hops. It was fantastic. I gave it a 4.75, which doesn't happen often, but probably, arguably, definitely my new favorite from Tombstone.
Hey, everybody. Greg here in Dearborn, Michigan, where it's raining and thunderstorming, better than snowing. But my last Untapped check-in was Double Dry Hop Mosaic IPA from Community Brewing Company out of Dallas, Texas. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it.
So this is Ross in North Carolina, and I'm going to skip one back because I wanted to mention it for a particular reason. I had the Spicy Nachos Mexican Cake, which was one of the few beers out there where the pepper in it was actually really hot. And that beer had nice heat the whole way through. One of those, hey man, am I coming down with something, in my throat because the heat's just sticking there. And it was really good.
Spicy nacho Mexican cake. Wow.
Sounds good.
And they had it on tap at Beer Study. Yeah.
Well, I wish I could have some of that. That's one of my favorites. Pepper beers, yes. Peanut butter beers, not so much for me. Anyway, let's get right into this week's episode. We are doing Easter basket beers that we would love to see in our Easter basket, celebrate the Easter season. So we're looking probably at some sweeter, maybe adjunct beers, which, of course, most of the beer nuts here like those kind of beers. Certainly I do.
Absolutely.
Now, let me see. Before we go, I think we've got a quote here. Let me pull this up. It's funny. We were out of quotes, and we kind of stopped doing quotes. And now, every time we find one, we're like, oh, that's a good one. So I'm going to put this one up. This was from Uncle Pete, just the first one I came across. We have a few archived for future shows. But here's from Uncle Pete, who couldn't be with us tonight, unfortunately. But I will deliver the quote on his behalf. The average human walks 900 miles per year and drinks 22 gallons of beer, which means the average human gets 41 miles per gallon. Not bad.
Good one.
Not wrong.
Not wrong, no. Facts are facts, right?
Absolutely.
The stats don't lie. So let's get started here. I want to get work on my mileage here. So I'm going to refuel with this first beer of the evening on the Easter Basket episode. And as I pop my beer, I would like to invite everybody, as always, please join us and pop open a beer, unless you're driving, of course. We're not pretentious. We just want to introduce more good people to more good beer. So cheers. I am popping mine. So what I have here to start the show for Easter Basket beers is Cigar City Brewing Vanilla Hazelnut Marshall Zhukov's Imperial Stout, 11.2% ABV, stout with vanilla and hazelnuts added. So before I read the description on the label, let's go ahead and, I'm kind of thirsty, so let's get right into this. I'm going to pour this in my glass. Got a nice tulip glass to pour it in. Beer clean, which is important, rinsed with cold water prior. Oh, and this is looking really good because it's pouring like it looks like it's really thick, and the head is like super, super dark brown. You know, I usually describe the head as a beige or a cola when it's got a little bit of brown, but this is like brown, really brown, like brown sugar brown. So the head's not lasting very long, but there's healthy carbonation in here. And the first thing I smell on the aroma is molasses. It's got a big, nice, deep molasses, roasty, dark, but definitely molasses is overwhelming by far the most prominent fragrance I get. So let's take a sip. Oh, yeah. As expected, this is a beer you can chew, which I really enjoy, a full-bodied beer, and this is not disappointing. It's sweet but not cloying. The molasses is so overwhelming, I'm getting very little hazelnut or vanilla, which is somewhat disappointing, but as I have only taken 2 sips, I'm going to reserve judgment until I take another 1 or 2 and swish it around. Oh, man, that is really good. So, smells of molasses, tastes of molasses, but some of the other flavors do emerge as with time after a few seconds on the palate. Really nice aftertaste, but again, the highlight of this beer is how thick and rich and full body it is. It's, you know, a lot of people are disappointed when they get a dark beer like this and they pour it and then you hear the word thin as a description. Definitely not the case with this bad boy. So let's go ahead and one more sip. This is definitely a sipper. It's not one you're going to want to quaff down quickly. And I've got a 22-ounce bomber of this, and so I'm going to be taking my time. Hopefully it should be finished by the end of this episode, possibly. So let's read the description from the bottle itself. Cigar City Brewing. This Russian Imperial Stout is dedicated to George Zhukov, arguably one of the finest generals of World War II. Huge in body with strong flavors of espresso, chocolate, and molasses, this unique iteration of Zhukov's adds roasted hazelnuts and vanilla to impart even more complexity and depth of flavor to this massive jet black stout. In the immortal words of Marshall Zhukov himself, and it's all Cyrillic writing, so I cannot possibly read this Russian writing. But I guess in the immortal words of me, this is a beer you can chew, and I highly recommend it. How's that sound? I'm glad the espresso was mentioned, because definitely that it's not coffee, it's espresso. It's like real thick, rich. I just had I went to a good coffee place the other day that had espresso, and I hadn't had it in a while, and man, that's definitely like what's in here. There's nothing weak about this beer. It is strong in every way. 11.2%. The alcohol doesn't burn, but it's noticeable. I guess the only disappointment, if there is one in this, because I'm enjoying it very much, so I'm not disappointed in it, but I was expecting more influence from the vanilla hazelnut on the label, but this almost just could be regular Marshall Zukavs. The adjuncts aren't very prevalent, but as it warms, as we all know, maybe it'll change. So maybe later in the show we can circle back and see how it's drinking as it warms. I actually pulled this out 40 minutes before our episode started, so it would not be like ice cold from the fridge, but it's still fairly cold, and I'm going to cradle it in my hands and warm it up. But one last sip before I turn it over. Man, and this is a perfect for like this Easter basket episode, because this is, again, sweet, not cloying, but it's rich and thick, just like chocolate coffee molasses. I don't want to say bomb here, because that can maybe be construed as negative, too much of something. There's not too much of anything, but it's probably maximum of everything, because they're pushing it to the limit as far as thickness. Great flavor, though, and really going to kick back and enjoy this. Has anyone else had either this or any of the other Zukavs?
Yeah, I've had the base beer. I just remember that, it was really dark and roasty, and it was really, really delicious. I mean, I'm glad I was able to get my hands on some. Luckily, they started distributing in Michigan not too long ago. And, boy, it was just fantastic. I certainly wouldn't mind trying the vanilla hazelnut. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and I will say, after just a couple more sips on the top of the roof of my mouth, I'm starting to get a little bit of vanilla on there. So I have no doubt in my mind that as this warms, more flavors will emerge. Still not really any hazelnut, but we're going to give this a chance to warm and for more flavors to emerge. That's very, very good, though, and solid offering here from Cigar City. So I guess with that being said, let's move on to the heartland, to Chris. Where are you tonight, Chris?
I'm in St. Joseph, Missouri. I'm about an hour north of Kansas City.
Oh, not too far from Lieutenant Dang. Well, actually, probably is, because I think Springfield is.
Yeah, he's about 4 hours away. But in May, I'm finally going to get down there and have a beer with Dan. But for now, I'm in St. Joseph, and I have a beer from a brewery. I am not sure this brewery is still around. Maybe you guys can help me out. Horny Goat Brewing Company out of Milwaukee. From what I've been trying to look up, it looks like their brew pub shut down in 2015, and they are perhaps, I'm not sure in 2019 if they're still doing this, but it's still plan to keep brewing out of a company that they kind of paired up with in La Crosse, Wisconsin. So, yeah, I mean, even going to their Twitter account, their last tweet was in 2015, so I don't know. But I have chocolate peanut butter porter from Horny Goat Brewing Company, and man, guys, I've been drinking ahead, and I mean, we're just gonna get right to it. Let's read from the can, because the can pretty much sums it up. This award-winning porter gets its delicious. Let's try again. This award-winning porter gets its luscious dark color from the generous use of roasted malts. We bring just the right amount of hops to the party to balance out that malt backbone and let the stars of the show shine. You'll get heavy notes of chocolate and peanut butter to question whether you're drinking a glass of delicious suds or popping a peanut butter cup in your mouth. You pour it, and this is motor oil. There is no light getting through this beer. A nice, thick, rich, foamy head. The lacing on this is ridiculous. It is still clinging to the glass, and I poured this thing probably right before we started. It is still there. You put your nose in it. It's like sticking your nose in a peanut butter cup. That is all I smell. Real heavy peanut butter, hint of chocolate, but that is it. There's no malt. There's no hops. It is just straight up like you are smelling a peanut butter cup. Let's taste it. So it's a porter. So it's not a beer you can chew, but it definitely, this isn't a West Coast IPA as far as Christmas goes. I mean, this is, we're probably at, medium B in the middle. We're probably a little bit over the edge towards the beer you can chew, but it's a porter, so it's a little thinner. But the flavors on this, guys, man, I'll taste it again. Peanut butter up front, chocolate in back, and then as soon as you as soon as you swallow it, the hops comes up and lets you know, hey, it's a beer. You know, you're not drinking a milkshake, but I mean, this is, full transparency, JR and peanut butter beers, you haven't built them up the best for me. So I had little intrepidation picking this one up, but man, this is, I have a feeling the chocolate might be helping it out, but this is delicious. And if this is the only can of this I'll ever get, it's going to be kind of disappointing, but I will remember the liquor store in which I bought it. But Horny Goat Brewing Company, chocolate peanut butter porter. If you see it, snatch it up. Yeah, this would definitely, this kind of like your beer, JR. This is a home run for an Easter basket beer.
I remember this beer being divisive among the people that I drink with, in that everybody either really liked it and appreciated it for the fact that it tasted like a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, or they weren't impressed by that at all and just felt it was kind of an average beer. And it really went 50-50 among the people that I know. It was one of those very polarizing beers. Either you like it, and you're going to really like it, or you're going to be like, I don't need to have that again.
Well,
I came in on the like it side.
Yeah, my barometer is if I want to keep drinking it, and I want to keep drinking this, and then go out and buy more and keep drinking that. So,
well, here's the thing. It's well known amongst everybody that listens to the show and all you other beer nuts out. I despise any beer or mead or pretty much any libation with peanut butter in it. But I actually really love peanut butter, and I don't care for chocolate, milk chocolate, candy, but I love chocolate beers. So it's kind of a crazy thing. I like peanut butter. I don't like chocolate, but I like chocolate in beer, and I don't like peanut butter in beer. But I think the reason I don't like the peanut butter isn't because of the flavor as much as that a lot of the peanut butter beers have oils in them, and it gives you a slick mouthfeel. And I didn't hear any of that in your review, and it may be just a thing everybody's got different palates, and it might be just my palate. But I will say that I did recently receive a box from a friend in Texas, and it had a beer called the Temptress, and they had a couple variants, and one of them was the peanut butter one. So it's a bourbon barrel aged beer with peanut butter. In a perfect world, I probably could have chilled it down and tasted it on this episode. But as you guys know, peanut butter beers are kind of trepidation for me. But maybe it's time I expand my horizons and try another one. If I don't like it, then just confirms what we already know. But there's also a lot of peanut butter and jelly meads that I don't care for. So I don't know what it is. I like peanut butter in real life, but I don't like peanut butter beers. But certainly I love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, and I don't even like chocolate because I think that's a great marriage. So maybe I just need to give everything another chance. But I'll get off my soapbox now. And anybody else have any comments to that?
Well, the one thing I've seen about some peanut butter beers is depending on possibly maybe brewer experience, you do end up with some of the peanut butter adjuncts settling out later. And depending on how they went about doing things, I guess. I've seen that happen a couple times here with a couple different breweries. I haven't seen it much lately, but even back then they used to tell people to, store the keg, upside down until you're ready to tap it and kind of stuff. But I have seen that too, and I don't know if you had anything like that where you saw some sediment or anything and that helped give you a pause for peanut butter beer.
Well, it's just one of those things I've just never cared for. There's two types of beer that turn me off, peanut butter and pumpkin. Pretty much. And I love hot pepper beers, and a lot of people hate those. So each his own.
I think we're all with you on the pumpkin.
Absolutely. Drain, pour.
Pumpkins are made for carving on Halloween, not consuming in any way.
The seeds are pretty good salted when they're roasted.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that one, Chris. It actually sounds, your review almost made me want to try one. So maybe someday you guys can blindfold me and feed me that, and maybe I'll actually like it. But I'll report back to you guys if I get the bold enough to try that peanut butter Temptress this weekend.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Bosch home appliances offer the easy way to perfect results. Our Bosch Autopilot ovens with preset recipes make family favourites a perfect success every time. Upgrade to PyroClean for the ultimate convenience. Or the Bosch IDOS self-dosing washing machines. Save up to 38% on detergent with one fill for 20 washes. With Which award-winning products and reliable local service teams, it's no surprise Bosch is Europe's #1 major appliance brand. Check out the full Bosch range in-store or at euronics.ie.
The Jaguar I-Pace is setting the pace for electric vehicles. Winner of the 2019 World Car of the Year, World Green Car of the Year and World Car Design of the Year. To celebrate this treble win, we're offering €3,000 off all Jaguar models, plus a free 3-year service plan. Set the pace. Book your test drive today at Conlon's Jaguar Nace. Offer available until the 31st of August.
SuperValue online shopping delivers convenience. And now with €15 off your first online shop over €75, we deliver value too. Or with our free click and collect service, you can pick it up in store, packed and ready to go. Shop online now at supervalue.ie. It's got to be SuperValue.
ChristopherMedia.net. All right, I guess that means we're heading further east to Greg in Dearborn.
Yes, sir. All right, so Easter Bunny was really good to me, and brought me this, well, it's not quite Easter, but still, he brought me this beer from Jackie O's Brewing in collaboration with Evil Twin Brewing. This is their Imperial Stout brewed with honey, aged in bourbon barrels, conditioned on Mexican cacao nibs, vanilla beans, pasilla chilies, and orange peel. This is a 12.7-ounce glass bottle, round bottle, 14.4%. And I picked this up at Joseph's Beverage Center, and they were only allowed me one, so kudos to them for that. This is definitely, it's like a $15 or $16 beer. So if memory serves me correctly, back in 2017 or so, Evil Twin released this. Their version of it came in at 12%, came in like a can or a bottle, and it wasn't bourbon barrel aged. And I had it. I thought it was pretty good. Certainly seemed like it was something was lacking. But let's see what the Jackie O's version here presents. So I poured it about 10-15 minutes ago. Certainly is clinging to the glass. I mean, dark as can be. Tight, compact bubbles. Just what you expect from a Jackie O stout, just completely dark and can't see through whatsoever. So, upon smelling, it is a booze bomb, as you can expect from 14.4%. You get a lot of that barrel characteristic. You do get that citrus peel. Almost like a maple characteristic, which could be that honey coming through in vanilla. It smells really, really good. It's been enticing me for a while, so let's get our first sip here. Cheers. That's fantastic. More of the same. It's not. This. I think this came out end of March of this year. So the bourbon is there, but it's not super hot. It's not overwhelming. You get a really good vanilla honey sweetness, really good chocolate. You get a little peppery skin to there, but nothing, not like it's hot or anything like habaneros or, jalapenos or something like that, but you could definitely pick it up. My own preference, maybe I would like to see a little bit more of the pepper, but, for what it is, this is delicious. I would definitely pick up more of these in a heartbeat if it was definitely available, to me. But alas, the one will have to do. Actually, I bought this thing not too long ago before the NCAA Final Four, and I was going to save it for a Michigan State victory in the NCAA championship game. But alas, that didn't happen. But I'm glad to have saved it for this episode here of the Easter Basket, and Oh man, this would be great. This was in my Easter basket every year. I'd be certainly stoked every year. That's for sure. So, gentlemen, anybody else's? First off, let me at least read their description on here. This was inspired by a mind-blowing dessert by a Nordic eatery that popped up in the middle of a Mexican jungle, brewed with honey aged in bourbon barrels, conditioned on Mexican cacao nibs, vanilla beans, pasilla chilies, and orange peel, collaboration with our friends at Evil Twin. So, this is their 2019 You're in the Jungle, baby, as the great Guns N' Roses would say. So, I don't know if anybody else had the Evil Twin version.
I have not. All I can say is pretty much everything I've ever had from Jackie O's is world class. All the adjuncts in that are appealing to me, and I'm actually kind of a little bit jealous that I don't get to taste that, but I can live vicariously through you. As far as Sparty, a great run, nothing to be ashamed of.
None whatsoever. That's right.
As always, eclipsed Michigan this year, so you got that.
And then I had Texas Tech after that. I was trying to root on for them because my better half for the household here was a Texas Tech alum, so unfortunately they couldn't pull it off, but hey, that's okay. There's always next year. So, but great beer. I hope I recommend to anybody that wants to seek this out and definitely get it. It's definitely worth a try.
Well, as a now Arizona but former Michigan resident, I can attest to that mostly anything Ohio is despised in Michigan, but I think Jackie O's is definitely the exception to that rule. I think everybody in Michigan loves Jackie O's beers because we'll take
Jackie O's beers and their roads. That's about it.
Amen. Good point. All right. Well, I guess before we go to Ross and Durham for our grand finale, let's go around. We have a little bit of hipster tipster beer news. I think Chris was going to lead that off. We're each going to have one brief segment, and then we'll go to Ross for the finale.
Wait, I can't seem to find anything on it, but I trust you guys. Apparently, the Jägermeister's going to make a beer. There's going to be a Jägermeister flavored beer. Which one is it?
What?
And why?
If you look at MichiganBeerGuy.com, I did share I guess it's a kind of a spoiler that it just said coming soon, Jägermeister beer. I'm not sure how I feel about that. We were talking a little bit before the show. I told a story about my dad the night before my brother was married. Everybody was doing shots of Jägermeister at a bar in Pennsylvania, and my dad, he just figured, okay, well, everybody's doing this, I'll have one. And everybody asked him what he thought after he took a shot of Jägermeister, and he said, well, that was my first Jägermeister and my last. But, some may say it's an acquired taste. Some may say it's just kind of like a masculinity test, if you can drink that. I'm not sure I'm ready for Jägermeister beer. But what do you guys think? Comments?
No. Absolutely nothing. I told you guys, it's the only beer. It's the only beverage I have ever retired. I used to drink that stuff from the bottle, ice cold, when I was in a band. No, do not put this in beer form. What is the? I guess my licorice beer. Is that what we're going for?
Well, for licorices, we've seen it plenty of times in stouts. So, I mean, I would be open to try it once, but, I mean, just the thought of it as a Jaeger beer instead of a Jaeger bomb, I guess. But
I'll keep an open mind as well, but I have very, very low expectations.
Right, absolutely.
I don't think people drink Jägermeister for the taste. I think they drink it because it's kind of a cool, bold thing. The other factor is when the company is asking accounts to put a frozen serving mechanism in their establishment. We all know that cold numbs the taste buds, so I think that just makes it more palatable to drink something that really doesn't taste that great. But hey, I know there's a lot of Jägermeister fans. I have friends that work for Jägermeister. It has its place, but I don't know if it has a place in the beer world. That would be my take on it. So let's see. Okay, who else? Greg, didn't you have something local to Michigan? Some news about M43?
Yeah, so Saturday, up at the Old Nation Brewing facility in Williamston, Michigan, they are releasing Tart Strawberry M43, and this was not too long ago. They had an Eventbrite ticket sale. $5 gets you in the door, and with that $5, you are guaranteed a half a case of Tart Strawberry. So, if my math serves me correct, that'd be 16 ounce cans of the good stuff. So, they've now started. All the news stations around here have started. Talking about it, which is going to get the hopefuls for the local stores up even more, and so they're going to be getting lots of phone calls, which I foresee will be a very tough thing to find, unfortunately. But yeah, it's exciting. We haven't seen it in a little while. Last time I had it on draft was about, I think, a year ago, if memory serves me correctly. So. Kind of looking forward to this. So,
well, the last time they produced this, I did go to the brewery. The initial batch of this, and honestly, I tasted it, and I ended up trading more than I drank because it was okay, but other people were like coveting this, like it was like this rare, unbelievable, great thing, and I was like, I'd rather just have an M43. But there's people that like tart flavors and fruit and stuff. I think Old Nation is so good at what they do that this particular variant is just, it's going to be, the hype machine is going to fuel the demand for it. And it is a good solid beer, but I don't know. I think its value is kind of artificially inflated. But they will sell every can that is available and in a heartbeat. And these tickets, I'm sure, sold out in no time, as they did the first time. And
they certainly did. Yes, they were gone pretty quickly.
But personally, I did taste it. It's good. It's just not great. Again, shout out to Uncle Pete, who mailed me a nice box of M43, Boss Tweed, and Woodshed, the Brewed IPA. I'm perfectly happy with those without this variant, but it's an exciting thing, and I'm happy for the brewery, pallets are pallets. There's some people that probably like that better than the regular, but for me, just stick to what you're doing, and everything's fantastic. But hey, nothing wrong with creating a little buzz and putting in something a little different out there, because it certainly is creating a lot of buzz.
And on top of the Tart Strawberry, there's been local bottle shop around town, at least in Holiday Market in Royal Oak, has had the double dry hop version of M43 on tap, which you can go get in many different sizes of cans and crowlers and growlers. And that to me is fantastic as well.
Now there you got me. That's something I would be excited about. I won't be driving from Arizona anymore.
No, please don't. They'll probably be gone by the time you're.
But if I was still on the island, I made that trip all the time for good stuff that I liked. It's great to hear about that. And all right, let's go down here. I don't really have anything local in Arizona other than Tombstone Brewing, producing some amazing new IPAs, Southern Hemisphere IPAs brewed with Galaxy and Nelson Sauvin. But we have a Down Under episode coming up, so I'm going to save everything for that. But I did want to bring up one thing. The Craft Brew Alliance is launching a low-proof alcoholic seltzer line in July, and we were going to talk about this, and we were talking about before the show these like alcoholic seltzers, really? So we made an executive decision that that's not beer. I don't know what it is. I know people are looking to cut calories, but I mean, come on, really? Alcoholic seltzer? Is that where we're going?
Anyone I've ever talked to about, if you're looking to cut weight, don't even bother with alcohol.
Pretty much. Yeah, if you're really serious. I mean, sad but true. But you know what? I can say I used to be in the spirits business, and I used to drink Sky vodka and club soda. And that was effective. Cuts the carbs, but I'm not going. I have not and will not try a flavored seltzer. That is not beer to me.
Regular seltzer's awful. What? Alcoholic.
I'm not going there. I know there's people buying it, and there's a market for it. I get it, but it's not for me, and I don't think it has any place on the Beer Nuts podcast. So let's just take the sledgehammer to that entire category and ban it forever from our show. Everybody agree?
Pretend it never happened.
Agreed.
Okay.
ChristopherMedia.net. At DBS, you can study in Dublin City Centre or online. Choose from over 100 industry-led programs. Programs designed to fit your life now and help you create your future. Realise your ambitions. Apply for a full or part-time course today at dbs.ie.
SuperValue online shopping delivers convenience. And now with €15 off your first online shop over €75, we deliver value too. Or with our free click and collect service, you can pick it up in store, packed and ready to go. Shop online now at supervalue.ie. It's got to be SuperValue.
ChristopherMedia.net.
With that being said, let's go to North Carolina. Ross has some really good news for North Carolina craft beer drinkers.
Yeah, so JR and I had discussed this probably a couple of weeks ago, but they finally got all the wording hammered out for HB 363 here in North Carolina, which is the Craft Beer Distribution and Modernization Act. Basically what it's doing is it's allowing all the local independent breweries to have a 50,000 barrel cap instead of 25,000 barrel cap for self-distribution purposes. Previously, North Carolina brewery that hit 25,000 had to sign with a distributor, et cetera, et cetera. Now they won't have to do that until they hit 50,000. It was kind of a compromise. They were looking for a lot more than that originally. In terms of North Carolina alcohol law, there was this thing kind of got split about a year ago. Part of it became the Sunday brunch bill, where they were allowed to serve alcohol earlier on Sundays, and then this half of it was the distribution cap. I believe the original limit they wanted was around 250,000 barrels a year ago, and they dropped that to 100,000 barrels when it split, and then the law that's finally looking like it's going to get pushed through. It made it through the House. It's got to go through the Senate, but everybody seems to agree that that's a done deal when it happens. Is 50,000, which is good. There were a fair number of places that were closing in on or at that limit, and there were some wiggle room to do. Collaborations didn't count against the limit, so some places, I mean, that was one of Wicked Weed's strategies back in the day to avoid the limit before they signed with MIMS, was to just, once they got near it, make sure everything they were releasing after that for the rest of the year was a collaboration of some kind. Anyway, so the limit got raised to 50,000, so that's a good thing. There's a lot of places around here ramping up. We're seeing a lot more of our local stuff produced every year. Things like, we used to see Collab Without Representation was a much more limited release. The Foothill stuff was a more limited release. People are really starting to crank up the amount that they're making for some of the more famous beers, certainly. So it's a good thing.
Indeed. And, especially if there's more collaboration without representation.
So having said that, I am going to try a beer not from North Carolina. So the beer that I chose, because I was up visiting my mother for the kids' spring break a few weeks ago, is a beer from Parsonburg, Maryland Brewing, Tall Tales. I've not actually had any of their beer before. I don't really know anything about this. What attracted me to it was the label, the Candy Kitchen label. For those people who have vacationed in Ocean City, Maryland, you would probably recognize Candy Kitchen. There's a gazillion of them. They're pretty much, they're centered in Ocean City. There's a lot of boardwalk stores, and kind of a couple blocks off the boardwalk, you'll see them on the streets and stuff, much like all the Sun Vacation-y stores where you can buy anything you need for your vacation. You'll see Candy Kitchens. They also go into Delaware a bit, Bethany, Rehoboth, Fenwick Island. But they're just a local homemade candy company, so they make everything that you could want, from fudges to hard candies to, I guess, just they run the gamut. You go in the store, it's a candy store. They've got everything, but they make it. So Tall Tales and Candy Kitchen collaborated on Candy Kitchen Beer, which is a double chocolate fudge oatmeal stout. So basically they've taken the Candy Kitchen fudge and put it into an oatmeal stout they had. And I'll read the text here. It said, "Did someone say chocolate, fudge, oatmeal, and then double all of that? We partnered with Candy Kitchen to create a delicious concoction of greatness. Using fudge straight from the plant, this brew will bring back childhood memories, leaving you thirsty for more." Sorry about the pacing of that reading. The can color changes all over the place, and the text is in white, and it became hard to read. So for me, this is a little bit of a lighter beer than I would normally do in terms of ABV. It's only 7.7. And let's give it a whirl here. So
pour. That was a really good pour.
It's certainly kind of more brownish than blackish when it pours. It's opaque in the glass, but you could definitely see through it while pouring. It has a nice fine tan head to it. On the smell, getting chocolate for sure. A little bit of a roasty smell, but mostly it's predominantly chocolate. The head dissipated pretty quickly down. Lacing on the glass, pretty good. Going for a taste now. So it's definitely it's more of a bittery chocolate taste than sweet to me. Get another one here. I may have been caught off. I'm a little bit caught off guard because I was expecting this to be more of a desserty sweetness, and instead it's more of a like a traditional chocolate roastiness and bitterness. So I need to rethink what I'm doing here. And definitely there's nice chocolate on the taste, but it doesn't even begin to approach being the level of sweetness I would have expected based on the can text and based on the saying how much fudge and chocolate they were using. It's definitely got the taste of chocolate in there, but it isn't as sweet as other beers I have had that were advertised this way with this kind of ingredients in it. But on the other hand, that makes it a lot more drinkable. It's easy and smooth, and at 7.7, you could have a lot more of it, I guess. I wouldn't put this in the class of sipper at all. You can just drink it as is. Yeah, it wasn't quite what I was expecting, because I was kind of really expecting a more desserty beer, one of those where I would be like, hey, how much of this do I want to have because it's so sweet? But that's not what it is at all. It's kind of more of a straightforward bitter chocolate than sweet on the taste. And having said that, it's pretty good now that I've realigned my expectations for it. Yeah. On the smell, you're really just getting chocolate and a little roastiness. There's not a lot else there on the smell, and the taste kind of follows suit. It's more of a, like I said, a slightly bitter chocolate taste, and again, you're getting some of the roastiness on the taste. It's pretty good, light little drinker. Having had this now, I'm not exactly sure it fit the profile for the episode, but it's still a good beer.
Well, as a home brewer, anything sugary the sugar when you brew gets converted to alcohol. So that's why so many sweeter beers have lactose, because lactose is non-fermentable sugar. So perhaps, this probably had a ton of sugar when they brewed it, but without the addition of lactose, it just doesn't have the sweetness, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I agree. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying from the can art and from what they're saying about it on the can, I would have expected a little bit more.
Yeah, I would bet
a little bit more sweetness to it. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it was not quite what I expected.
But I would bet that consumers probably expect that candy flavor too. So perhaps the brewers could consider adding lactose, and perhaps they do other variants with lactose. But
like I said, I've never had a beer from them before. I don't really have anything else to compare it to. They're in Parsonsburg, Maryland, which is kind of 2/3 of the way to Salisbury from Ocean City, if you know anything about that location. So I can make it a point to get there. It's probably a half an hour or 35 minutes from my mom's house. And next time I go up and visit the brewery itself and see what they're all about inside. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it for the price of the 6-pack and for the kind of chocolate stout it is. It's fine. I was expecting it based on the label of being Candy Kitchen and based on saying that, we put so much fudge in it for it to be more of a sweeter thing than it was, but it works out just fine the way it is.
Oh, sounds like a good beer.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for reviewing. Mm-hmm. I'm going to circle back to my Marshall Zukov here. As you guys know, when I first tasted it, I didn't get many of the adjuncts. I had a little bit of vanilla. So it's warmed quite a bit now. I'm going to take another sip. I still absolutely say that the front runner of the flavor profile is the molasses, but I'm definitely getting much more vanilla now. And I'm still struggling to find the hazelnut. I'm sure it's here, but that being said, I mean, I'm perfectly very, very happy with the flavor profile of this beer as it is. So when I say there's no hazelnut, it's not like, I'm crushed, there's no hazelnut. It's a fantastic beer. The vanilla is now emerged at least 2 to 3 times more than what I was getting initially when it was colder. But it's still an unbelievable, nice, full-bodied beer. And I'm starting to feel, as Uncle Pete would say, I'm starting to get a glow on from its 11.2%, as I am on the last glass of this bomber. So, again, a wonderful selection here, perfect for the topic, and definitely more flavors emerge with the warmth. Anybody else? Any changes in your brews or?
Yeah, mine's still exactly, as I was describing it. A lot of, citrus peel and chocolate and, bourbon, vanilla, sweetness. I mean, it's getting better. I only chilled it for probably about 10 minutes in my fridge, and the rest of the time was in my basement, natural temperature down there. But, it's fantastic. I mean, this is, a really good beer.
Well, let's just go around the room. Let everybody pick 1 or 2 beers that you would also enjoy. That maybe we only can pick 1, maybe 2 for episodes. But anybody else have any ideas of other beers they might have wanted to have on this episode? If you had a chance and an industrial liver to drink 2 more, maybe. Chris, anything?
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm catching him off guard, so we'll move to Greg.
Greg, well, one that came to mind that I have in my cellar is, KBS. It's got the chocolates, it's got the bourbon, it's vanilla, it's everything. So that would definitely been, one I would have chosen, to accompany this.
I was considering that as well.
Yeah, I had my mic off, so
okay,
my bad, but.
Technology.
The beer I would like to try is the one that Uncle Pete had a few weeks ago. And Greg, I think you had it too. The one that you guys said tasted like a liquid churro.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Yes. The transient. Yes. Yes, that was so good.
I would say just because I saw it hit the shelves around here, or limited distribution Parabola hit the shelves. That's something else that's nice and sweet, and I enjoy from time to time.
And if I could chime in one more, and I know we've talked about maybe having an episode like this, but down in Ross's Way, Foothills Sexual Chocolate. I've heard great things. I have a bottle in my cellar just waiting to be popped open. That would be another one I would love to have tried here, or even maybe a future episode.
Well, you stole my thunder. That was another one that I had in my hand today, and I thought, no, we're going to wait and have Ross host a Foothills Brewing episode, because I think Ross has been generous enough to spread so much of that around to. I think every beer nut here has at least one bottle. So, but yeah, as soon as I thought, I'm like chocolate. I'm like, that's sexual chocolate. That's one of the best beers. And Ross sent me like a coffee variant. Perhaps you're right. Ross maybe not the best connotation for Easter with a lot of kids involved and stuff. But you know what? It is a great beer, and Ross, we do want to schedule that out with you. So you let us know when you can commit to a week, and we're going to put that on the schedule for a Foothills. And
I would say it's anymore. I kind of I leave the regular sexual chocolate behind and just go straight for the BA versions. It's just taken that kind of turn in life where it's like, well, they make so much of the regular sexual chocolate anymore. It's not hard to come by. It kind of lost its, you don't have to go wait at the brewery to get it anymore, that kind of thing. Whereas the BA versions are still, it's less it's more limited, I guess, and it's a little bit. It can be tougher to acquire for people who aren't close by, I guess. And they are producing these other variants now, where they've had JR's had the variant where they put blackberries in it. That's called Dead and Buried. It's basically sexual chocolate with blackberries in it.
Wow.
And it's basically barrel-aged sexual chocolate with blackberries in it. And then they produced this coffee version last year, this coffee version of the barrel-aged sexual chocolate. And they've had a couple other things that were collaborations where they've used sexual chocolate in it.
And Ross, when I moved to Arizona, I only brought, I think, either 12 to 15 cases. I think I had 15 cases, but like 2 or 3 were spirits. But I do have a full case of stuff that you gave me from North Carolina, and I think at least 10 of the 12 bottles are variants of Foothills brews. I know I have a Dead and Buried. I know I have the coffee barrel-aged and several barrel-aged.
The Old Rabbit's Foot is really good, too.
And that's in there, too.
Yeah.
So, let's definitely, after we go off the air here, we'll talk about when we can schedule that out, when you can make yourself available. And we will do a dedicated Foothills Brewing episode. So, moving into other beers that I was considering for tonight, I'm sure Chris would agree, we all love our Founders beers. And I know this isn't like the candy type thing, but the Old Curmudgeon with that caramel flavor, I found some old, like 2014 Curmudgeons in my cellar, and again, I had to really pick and choose what I was bringing. I probably had about 40 cases and 15 made it, maybe 12 were beer. So, I left a lot of pretty good beers behind with friends, but I did find these Curmudgeons, and I think that's a perfect beer. It's a nice sweet, like an old ale, Curmudgeon's old ale, a style that I really enjoy. And, I hate to just be all about Founders with this, but everybody knows my love for Backwoods Bastard. That's also got a little sweetness to it, a nice malty, barrel-aged Scotch ale. And I've got some of the OG, the old, 2013, 14, 15. A lot of people say that the newer, vintages are maybe not as much barrel in them, which I would reluctantly have to, or maybe not reluctantly, but sadly agree with, that the barrel presence has dropped off a little bit since they've expanded and make a lot more. But I've still got some of those older ones that really were life-changing for me. So I'm going to have to just say Old Curmudgeon and Backwoods Bastard would be my next man up, so to speak, for this episode.
Even that curmudgeon's better half too, with the maple syrup and all that.
Gosh.
I mean,
yeah, you know what? I guess we've been kind of, I guess, very, very complimentary of Founders, but I'm really still a fan of a lot of their beers. So, anybody else? Anything to add? Any more wish list beers, or is it time?
Like I said, we've got a couple gems here in North Carolina, other than the sexual chocolate. Like JR, I know he's fascinated with the collab without representation from Deep River.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really nice, tasty, sweet but not over the top sweet chocolate stout, and then Southern Pines as well with the German chocolate cake stout they make that's a very awesome, not over the top sweet desserty stout. So
what's that other Southern Pines beer that I love?
Drunken Vigils.
Oh yeah, Drunken Vigils. Yes, that's it. That's my favorite from that brewery. All right. Well, that was a pretty good cross section of great Easter beers. Any final comments, anyone?
Happy Easter, everybody. I mean, it sounds like we all had great beers, and hope everybody gets what they want in their baskets. The kids get to hunt for eggs and candy. The adults get to hunt for good craft beer. So good luck with the adult Easter egg hunt this weekend.
They're all hidden in the fridge. It's a real easy place to find them.
All right. Well, just a quick spoiler. Next week's episode will be cherries and berries. It'll be beers or mead with cherries and berries. So it's a little bit of fruit. Fruit flavors coming up.
I saw beer tonight at boysenberry and raspberry.
Oh, pick it up and review it next week.
Yeah.
Dead Berry. Dead Berry would be a good one for that, Ross, but I'm going to save that for the Foothills because I'm holding that one back. So let's schedule that out with you. Let us know when you can make it, and we'll do a Foothills. And when we go off the air, let's make sure all of us have some Foothills beer for that. So as I always say at the end of the episode, now that I'm in southern Arizona, 30 miles from the border, I'm much closer to Mexico City. But as they say at Old Mexico City, AMF.
ChristopherMedia.net. Everyone shouts about how fast their broadband is.
We're fast, mega fast, stupid fast, almost too fast.
But what do they say about reliability? Well, Dublin, with Virgin Media, you get both. Ireland's fastest broadband network and 99.9% network reliability. Reliability at speed. See virginmedia.ie.
Terms and conditions apply. Ireland's fastest broadband network as awarded by Ookla. Network reliability. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
Super Value online shopping delivers convenience. And now with €15 off your first online shop over €75, we deliver value too. Or with our free click and collect service, you can pick it up in store, packed and ready to go. Shop online now at supervalue.ie. It's got to be Super Value.
ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Introducing touch-free payments from PayPal, a safe way for your customers to pay. Simply download the PayPal app and display your own unique QR code for your customers to scan. Whether you're a market seller,
I'll take 2 tomatoes and a cucumber,
poodle pamperer, piano tuner, or plumber, signing up to accept touch-free payments for your business is easy. Touch-free QR code payments. Shop safe with PayPal.
In the time it takes to say, Ecolab products and protocols are helping to keep this restaurant cleaner. A baby in this restaurant has touched a spoon, a cup, the tabletop, his chair, his mouth, and now, my mouth. Look for the Ecolab Science Certified seal and see a commitment to advancing cleaner, safer practices.